Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Geeky Voices Carry, the podcast that is part of the problem. With me, as always, David Rollins.
Hello.
Josh Thompson.
Hey.
And Stacy Dellorfano, who is so excited she is about to explode.
Into bits.
Into bits. There may be a spray. So, if this were a Gallagher concert, we would suggest some old shower curtains or perhaps just plastic sheeting for the first few rows.
Yeah, trash bags for the cheap ones.
You're probably too young for Gallagher, so which is a good.
We can make
Gallagher
a
really
Dexter reference.
I actually think I am too young for Gallagher, which is astonishing.
Well, you can still see his shows in the 90s.
You're like 75, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. I am 75.
Wow.
I was born during the Great Depression.
Well,
I'm actually older than my mom, yes.
I think you'd be in your 80s at that point, but okay.
Yeah. Okay, so we have a couple of things to talk about tonight, and I guess we can start with, because we don't want Stacy to explode too quickly, we should probably start with something boring like marketing.
Now she might be really into marketing. You never know.
An explosion would be good marketing.
It would be.
what is growing on your face?
Whose face?
Yours. Is it like a Wolverine that's stuck there?
He's trying to be a
Yeah.
hipster.
It's a couple of black squirrels.
Yeah.
For
Do you guys have black squirrels?
Yeah, well, parts of the country. I've seen them in Ohio. They had them in parts of Ohio.
No. Okay.
They're really freaky creatures the first time you see them.
Yeah, they are surprising.
Yeah, they look like his beard.
Yeah.
A young puma.
What marketing? What are we talking about? Marketing what? Are we just going to complain
RPG.
about bad marketing?
Yeah.
Is that
Philosophy.
Yeah, I think, well, if we're going to talk about marketing in RPGs, then yes, I think we're going to spend a lot of time talking about
How non-existent or bad it is. Yeah.
how it takes major publishers over a month to respond to emails from media people without mentioning who those major.
I think I'm starting to see where this topic came from.
No, actually, you're the one that came up with it, I think.
What?
I think
I
I
don't
remember
remember.
actually.
No, it was
Was it you, Josh? I thought it was
Yeah.
David. It sounded like
No.
David. Well, no,
It
David.
certainly wasn't me.
David would have made a reference to Vietnam, so.
I would
That's
not.
right.
Not for
Cool
marketing.
topics like
Yeah.
who's your favorite My Little Pony? I mean, that's marketing.
That's a good one too.
So,
As everyone at home can see, we don't plan.
we plan nominally, and we're sort of a unique approach to podcasting. Kind of like we're the short bus of gaming.
Nice.
Oh,
Nice
that's
reference.
mean.
That's really insensitive.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
totally
That's okay.
insensitive.
That's okay. I shared a racially charged image earlier today on G Plus, apparently. So.
Really?
Yes.
I'll have to look for that now.
Oh, I missed that. All right.
All right. So, Josh, since this was your topic, obviously you have something to talk about on this topic. So I will let you talk about it, and the rest of us will go off and do something else.
Oh, okay. So, why is tabletop RPGs, not really represented in marketing? Why don't they market more? Even though a lot of it is small. I mean, even Wizards doesn't seem to market heavily. Paizo should be able to do marketing. But you don't really see a lot of it.
Back... I think
they did market, like, ages ago, or when it was still TSR and stuff. But...
No, even more recent. I remember Wizards marketing both 3rd and 4th edition.
Didn't they? What did they market it in, though?
They marketed in places that have since upset gamers, like Maxim Magazine.
Oh.
Maxim would be a good place.
Yeah, it would be.
I agree.
Is that like
it?
it?
Be... Oh, I'm sure they did others, but that's one I remember seeing at the time was
Oh, you just admitted that you read Maxim.
Wow.
Yeah, I already have admitted
Reviled
part
forever.
of the problem, so
Okay.
All right. Well, that's done.
But no, they've and I think a lot of it nowadays has to do with the scale, because gaming just doesn't really make the money it was making 20 or 30 years ago.
Oh,
You can
that's
afford
true.
to be able to market
Maybe.
in all these fancy places.
Well, maybe it's not making the money because they're not marketing.
Yeah.
Right? Like, a lot of people were surprised by the fact that they couldn't get the starter box in the same places they were able to get the 4E starter box. Like, it just didn't receive as broad of a release.
Well, yeah, but
Is that because the market shrank? Is that because print media is disappearing and like all the bookstores are closing? Or is it something else?
Well, the other thing
Marketing
though
to
is
a narrower group.
the thing to consider though is that the 4E starter red box came later in the cycle.
Okay.
Well, they actually had two of them since they had one at the very beginning, but
Yeah, but the one that people saw in
they didn't
stores
sell
and everything, that was one that
the
came
red box.
Yeah, that came late in the cycle. Because I remember that was at like Target and Walmart and places
Oh, yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
So,
it already been, like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, it had been out for a bit before at that point. So that doesn't surprise me that they're not trying to spend their money and getting it right away, because that might not pay off. And then in 6 to 8 months they're remaindering all that crap and they have to pay for it again.
Right. Makes sense.
So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we do, because there is a lot of gaming that you see in Target nowadays. I mean, there's you see a lot of Munchkin stuff.
You see Munchkin everywhere.
That's true.
That's because the Steve Jackson Games people have a very good marketing team. Well, and I mean, I'm just saying, they have good marketing people, and you know what else they do? They answer emails.
Ooh.
I see. Interesting. Is there like some kind of theme to this topic?
I didn't bring the topic up. I'm just I'm relating my personal experience.
Using it like a stick to hit the people that have pissed you off recently. Why don't we talk about the people who haven't answered your emails?
Actually, I believe that everyone has finally answered my Gen Con emails.
Oh, that's great.
Really?
Just in time.
Just in time, yeah. There were stragglers, but
What surprises me, well, you talk about scale, but scale doesn't mean you don't market. It just means you market differently. Like,
well, and that's how you get like with the Steve Jackson Games people, where they have their games are in Target. They have games in Walmart. I mean, they have specialty. They have come up with game. They did I think it's a variant of the zombie dice game.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Called Deer Hunter.
Really?
That they sold to places like Walmart, because that's the kind of game apparently that demographic wants.
Makes sense.
That's actually a pretty smart idea.
Yeah,
is Deer Hunter based on the movie, or is it something else?
Yeah, you have to play Russian roulette at the beginning, and then whoever survives.
I'm just asking. You don't have to jump all over me.
That would be an awesome game, though.
Yeah, and it's not a simulationist. You actually have to play Russian roulette.
Right. All right.
The only problem with that is that your market diminishes pretty damn quickly. Not a lot of repeat playing in Deer Hunter the movie.
Think about the buzz, right?
Even
Free
better than
media
steam
coverage.
tunnels.
Yeah, even better.
Yeah. So, Stacy, you've had some first-hand experience with marketing people, having organized a major online convention.
Yeah, that's true.
Major? That's a weird statement.
Well, I thought I would make you sound better,
Thanks.
No problem.
For online gaming conventions, I mean, it definitely was, though.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was a pain in the ass. It was a huge pain in the ass. Let's just say everybody is a special snowflake, is what it ends up boiling down to. Everybody needs to be dealt with completely differently, and they all want to respond differently and on different time scales and in different ways. I'm not doing it anymore, which should say a lot about it.
No, that's understand. I mean, but from your experience, what would you give as advice of things that people should do, other than answer emails, which is,
Which is your advice?
On a timely basis.
Answering
Don't
emails
wait
on a
like month
timely
and
basis,
half.
yeah, that's huge. Because I mean, stuff will just go for the longest time. And actually answer. I mean, if you need to say no to somebody that you're not interested or whatever it is, just actually answer. Deleting it and not answering is just kind of not cool. That's because then we don't know. Did you not just not get it? Are you busy? Do I need to remind you, or are you just really not interested and you just don't want to say it?
So from the sounds of it, a lot of these game companies do have marketing people that just don't do their jobs. Is what
I don't know what.
I think. Well, what I would say, what I was going to say is, from the marketing people that I've been dealing with lately, I think that for a lot of these companies, they only hire a marketing person when it's convention season.
Really? That's
yeah.
Interesting.
Or it's like, well, the one company that took a month and a half to answer their emails, their marketing person is actually an external person and represents like 2 other companies as well.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Which isn't unusual for marketing firms.
Yeah, it's not.
No. But still.
But
Wow.
it just goes to show. I mean, Wizards has a fairly dedicated marketing company. I mean, 'cause they have an external marketing company.
Even they do.
For them. Yeah. I'm trying to think. The companies that have marketing that I've dealt with directly that have an internal, the only one I can think of is Steve Jackson. They have their own marketing, marketing people. Yeah.
Interesting.
And they were doing better because of it?
Oh, if we could attribute cause and effect in this case, but it is an interesting correlation.
That they have an actual in-house marketing department and
that understands,
and
their
they're fairly
company,
successful.
their vision.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't run into. Okay, no, wait, this is a lie. The Wizards of the Coast marketing people are about 50-50. Because there was the incident the last time I went to Gen Con a couple of years ago where I think I've talked about this before when Neverwinter came out, when they had the big push for Neverwinter as the campaign setting and all that. During Gen Con, they released a press release to everybody that said that Neverwinter was the first RPG city setting ever.
Oh wow, that's really dumb.
Yeah, and it was I remember standing there because they gave me a flash drive that had the thing as an RTF and a bunch of images, and they gave me a printout. And I'm standing there, I'm reading this printout, and I get to the first ever city setting in RPGs, and I'm like, this isn't right. And it took me like a day and a half before I could find someone who would actually comment. Let alone it was just because
comment on the city settings that they had, their company had released,
like,
that they own licenses to.
I'm like, yeah, and I'm going, I can think of 3 cities alone that you guys.
Waterdeep, Sigil,
including Neverwinter itself.
Yeah.
Neverwinter itself.
But yeah, it was like. Because the marketing person just had this sort of, it wasn't quite blank. It was a combination somewhere in between blank and panicked look on their face. It was these.
It's like,
I don't know what you're asking me, but crap, what the hell? It's like
if you're asking me this, something's gone wrong.
Yeah, you're not supposed to ask questions. What the hell? What kind of press are you? You just ask your own question there, but yeah. So I mean that is the problem, I think, in a hobby like gaming, having external marketing people. If you have people that don't know what the hell they're talking about, um,
It can burn you badly.
yeah. This is actually funny. It was some board game company, and they had a marketing person. It was just one of the email blasts from Gen Con. And I was talking to their marketing person because it turned out that the board game company was based out of Tampa.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, I was like, oh, yeah, you know, but it turned out their marketing person was in Chicago, I think. So.
Oh, wow.
However, as
You can
we
still
were
relate, right?
as we were exchanging emails, and I don't know if she was just blowing smoke up my ass to try to get me to cover their stuff or not, but she did say that she listened to the podcast.
Really?
And she did mention it by name, but that could just be a case of looking at the blog and seeing, you know, and just
Or a quick Google
off.
search.
Yeah. So, but you know, she did make the effort. So,
Yeah, that's good.
Kudos
It was
for
a
that.
pleasant lie.
Yeah. It got me to come. You know, I'll go by their booth at some point.
There you go.
Yep.
See, so it worked.
And with that, we can use that as a segue into Stacy Explosion.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Shut up.
Well, if we were going to talk about marketing, why don't we talk about small-scale marketing? Because I find it strange that
Especially these days.
with all the targeted marketing that's available through like Facebook or Google, why nobody seems to be doing it.
That is a really good
Money.
question.
I'm gonna go.
It doesn't
money.
cost that much. It costs very little to do targeted ads over Facebook.
I don't know if I'd go with cost, but probably effectiveness. When you consider that only about less than 10% of people actually see the ads.
I think maybe that's
yeah, but
it.
you pay for clicks. You don't pay for the ads.
You pay for views. Yeah, on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they probably could do that. I
Like-
would say more is, you know, why don't they do more contacting of blogs or, you know, people that do videos or podcasts or things like that, since that's basically free advertising.
Yeah,
Like a
absolutely.
lot of video game companies will actually go and contact people that do like YouTube videos or Twitch streams that get a lot of followers, try and get them to do their product and
I
offer
think-
it for free, and then free advertising.
I think that there's a large untapped market in RPGs of people who are playing but are not aware of what's going on right now. I think in this city right now, the most people are playing 2nd edition D&D and Vampire.
Wow.
It's possible.
Wow. Are you
I
like
think
stuck
that's
in
what's
the
happening.
90s? Is Canada stuck in the 90s?
No. Look,
It's
I live in the bush.
It's like
Oh.
it's like Groundhog Day, but they're repeating 1999 over.
I know. I think that that's the case probably in a lot of places. People just haven't been paying attention, or they never jumped into the conversation online. Because if you look at it on G+, how many people are talking about RPGs? Maybe 5,000, 10,000 tops.
I don't think that there's people talking about RPGs right now. I think they're all just yelling and screaming at Zach. And
Okay,
John.
all right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well.
that's what's going on.
No, I think that there's maybe a dozen people yelling and screaming it. But in the conversation, there can't be, because if you look at the numbers of followers that different people have, there can't be more than 10,000 people actually engaged in talking about RPGs online in
It's on Google
Google
Plus.
on Google Plus. And as far as the blogs go, since G Plus came out of the blogs, maybe a couple thousand more, maybe double. So the blogs really only represent 20,000 of the probably millions of people who are playing RPGs right now. The big marketing thing, the big marketing secret is how to reach those people that are not involved in the conversation. Because sure, in small press, you can sell a couple of thousand adventures and you can sell maybe 1,000 copies of your game, which is enough to have a successful Kickstarter just with the G Plus crew. But if you want to have a successful company, if you want to build something large, you have to find that untapped market. You have to grab them. And nobody is marketing to them.
And never let them go.
Literally.
It's
Call
true.
them George and hug them and kiss
Well,
them.
Think of, if most people have been playing since the 90s, right? That was kind of the height
Yeah, probably.
of the hobby. That's when most of the new games came out. That's when people kind of
I don't know.
fractured.
If they're saying like that, Gen Con's been getting bigger and bigger every year, right?
Okay.
Yeah, last year, Gen Con
Oh, that's right.
had
40,000 people.
49,000 unique visitors, and
49,000 people, and it's going
49.
up. It's not like it's,
yeah,
So,
because it'll
so
be more than that.
say
Yeah,
I'm right,
however,
and there's 20,000 people
hold on,
talking now. There's 40,000 going to the...
David, stop talking. However, here's the thing. To give that comparison, was it 2 weeks or a week ago? I went to a local comic convention, 3rd year for this con,
Okay.
and it had 44,000 people.
Woo.
Gen Con. This is Gen Con. What? 3,047,000, something like that. I mean, this is what, Gen Con 30 or 40 or something like that.
40, 45, 40 something.
Well, that was
45, 45.
You
that
know,
was a comics one, though, right?
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I
I
hate
don't
to
know
say
how
that,
many
comics.
people who go to cons are actually going for the main point, or how many are going for the atmosphere of the con.
I mean, comics is
Atmosphere. There will be atmosphere?
Yes.
Well, one would hope.
It's like going to Mardi Gras. There will be
I have
drinking.
no idea
There will
what
be
to
loose
expect.
moral values. There will be
It's-
women taking their clothing off.
It's Mardi Gras for nerds.
It's Mardi Gras for nerds. Yeah.
Oh,
was-
wow.
It'll be a
There's
Mardi Gras.
dice.
It'll be a.
There's
But they'll be
dice instead of beads.
They'll be padding
Wow.
on all the sharp corners, so no one can actually hurt themselves.
I was looking at the exhibit hall, and I was like, what in the hell? That is one maze of a bunch of stuff.
It's a really poorly organized exhibit hall. I'll say that. Because I've been going to comic conventions since I was a kid, probably since I was in high school, and
Oh, they had comics back then?
yeah, it's amazing. Back in the Depression, when they were starting comics.
That's right.
they're all pulp and such.
Yeah.
For those of you at home who aren't paying attention, we've actually successfully segued into Gen Con.
Kind of.
Our second topic.
Yeah.
But,
Comic conventions are just, even like a small, tiny comic convention is always been a scale larger than a comparative gaming con, I think.
Tabletop.
From my experiences.
Video game cons are usually pretty big, also.
Video game cons are definitely.
Those are insane.
E3 is the only con that I've actually been to, so I will be judging Gen Con against E3.
Ooh, well, Gen Con's gonna be much, much smaller.
E3 in its heyday, too.
Well, I judge the couple of times I've been to Gen Con. The first time I went, I judged it against having gone to some of the big comic shows. So that was like, it was funny because friends I was with were like, "Holy crap, this is huge!" I'm going, "Yeah, but Chicago Comic Con is bigger than this. I mean, come on."
Well, yeah, but
San Diego
think about,
Comic Con?
it'd be big
San
too.
Diego Comic Con is like a city,
That's
Talk
true.
about that.
Wild city.
How about Comic Cons, though? I mean, how much of that is for actual comic readers and people who watch the movies?
Honestly, I
like the Toronto one because it's honest. It's just called FanCon.
That's actually a good one. Yeah. You're mute. Oh, he's mute. So.
Honestly, I think that you get a lot higher ratio of people that are there to get stuff at a comic show, because you end up with a lot more dealers. You have a lot of creators who are there to sell things, and
So it's more for collectors.
well, comics are a lot more collector driven.
That's true. That's true. So should we make tabletop RPGs more collectible?
No, that
Aren't they
didn't
now?
work. That didn't work when they tried that with White Wolf. So
It's working for Zambietta.
No, that's true. But that's because Riffs is just awesome.
That's because Riffs is just a comic book with too many words.
and bears that shoot lasers.
Of course.
But so, Stacy, what do you expect out of Gen Con? What are your just from having seen people talk about it, seeing pictures and stuff like that? What do you expect Gen Con to be?
To be honest, most of the thing that people tell me about is the smell.
Oh.
That's like the first thing anybody says when I'm like, it's my first time going to Gen Con. They're like, oh, be prepared for the smell.
Oh man, I can only imagine.
I think that's usually after a few days, but yeah.
Is it like comic store funk times like 1,000,000?
Probably.
That's 40,000.
Consider yourself lucky that you're a woman and you don't have to go into the men's room.
Oh wow, that just sounds unfortunate.
I have been to NASCAR and IndyCar racing events that have nicer bathrooms than Gen Con.
Wow.
Ouch.
Yeah, I just one year at Gen Con, I think it was my first Gen Con, or maybe my second, I don't know. I just like I went into the bathroom and I just like exploded. I was just like going, it's like, don't you people have any goddamn manners? Who the hell is doing this? I mean, it was just like.
I sometimes wonder at people's inability to use a toilet.
I mean, it was like they kind of hovered. My cat does a better job of getting where they're supposed to,
Oh man.
And I'm not talking about somebody peeing all over the stall.
Oh, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
And
no, we don't need.
Moving on.
Moving on. Bring a lot of
sanitizer.
Yeah.
Sanitizer.
Hand sanitizer is a must for any convention, I think, personally.
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
Treat it like a trip to Mexico.
But with less
Be
donkeys,
prepared.
though.
I've never actually been to Mexico.
What? Don't you live in California?
I live like 30 miles from the border.
Can't you
I don't know
without a passport because of that?
Yeah, not anymore. He used to be able to.
Yeah, all that crossing the border.
Extended driver's license?
You can get insurance to go to drive into Canada.
You mean Mexico?
I mean Mexico.
We are different from them.
Maybe, I don't know.
You have to get special insurance in order to drive while you're in Mexico.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but every time I get closer to the border, there's more and more billboards proclaiming, get your Mexican driver's insurance, or whatever the hell they call it.
Huh.
Yeah.
They probably just go around looking for Americans driving and smashing into them.
It's possible.
I had a friend who lives in Tijuana and drove in to work at SOE every day. And he said that he got rear-ended so much that he just, every once a year, he'd just go to his back bumper and just put a bunch of white paint on it.
It was a white car, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a black car. He just wanted to let them know he didn't care.
I just paint my car with house paint.
I know somebody who did that.
Hit my car all you damn want. I just paint it with house paint. I'm just going to go out and buy a bucket of gray paint, and I'm not even going to paint it. I'm just going to toss it on my car. People. So anyway, so what are your expectations, Stacy? What do you think is going to happen?
What do you think is going to happen? I think there's going to be a whole lot of people in one place at the same time. I don't know, actually. I signed up for stuff, and I'm scared because I'm afraid of what it's going to be.
Signed up for stuff. You're going to be
I
in some
signed
games.
up. I won game, and Sarah got me to sign up into that one. And we're both taking a class together to make dice towers. His is going to be TARDIS, and mine is going to be a castle.
Sweet.
That's kind of cool.
That's
And
so
I'm going to like 3 urban fantasy fiction writing workshops.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
That's nice.
And I'm meeting somebody for lunch, and I'm meeting all these other weird people there, like Chris.
yeah.
No, yeah.
None of them are going to be probably quite as weird though.
I'm really kind of.
Are you expecting people to be freaked out by how tall you are? Especially since your camera is always set so that you have so much space over your head.
Mm. You've noticed that.
Lulling them into a false sense of confidence.
Yeah. I think her monitors are even placed up higher too, just to give even more of an illusion.
They are kind of high. Well, I mean, they're on shelves. Monitor shelves.
All right.
So neither of you guys have gone to Gen Con, though, in the past, have you?
No.
So, yeah. I'm expecting cacophony.
Yeah, I expect
Good.
that would make a lot of sense.
And I hope I get a lot of really good shopping done, because that's probably going to what I'm going to spend a lot of my time doing.
You'll probably have some Susurrus as well.
Somewhat?
Susurrus. Susurrus.
Canadian words.
No, it's an English word.
What is it?
Are you sure?
I'm totally sure. It's the Susurrus. It's like a background noise.
Oh.
I might be pronouncing it wrong because I pulled it out of a Pratchett book.
Oh.
Susurrus.
Is that an
Oh, makes sense.
Eskimo word, and you're just trying to...
Oh, you are so intolerant.
I know.
Oh, I missed that. Was that a problematic comment?
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, but I think it's only problematic to Canadians. So.
We're like sound bites, just like, is that a problematic comment?
That's somebody's ringtone tomorrow. Me saying, I missed that. Was that a problematic comment? I say, sir, you are part of the problem.
What? Hip hip.
You are the problem.
Let's see. We had a third topic was the new edition.
Yeah, that's true.
I think you were gonna say something really what's the
Cantankerous?
word? Incendiary.
Oh, incendiary.
About
What did I
5th
say?
edition.
Ooh.
I don't have anything incendiary to say about 5th edition.
Well, I thought you were gonna talk about how you thought it was going to end the OSR.
Oh, yeah, you did say that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
We do plan, people. Plan the bombs we're
We
gonna
make
drop.
one
That's what we
post
plan.
and we talk about it, and that's it. That's the extent of our planning.
We get that plus one, and we.
And then we forget all about everything we talked about.
Yeah, pretty much. So, I mean, it's certainly a valid position to take with all the effort they've made to strip down the rules and make them modular so they're easy to take what you want and ignore what you don't want. What was that?
I have a lizard man that just snuck in.
Oh, I see.
Oh, no.
Cat.
Yeah.
Get away, lizard man.
Yeah, because it looks like, honestly, I mean, I don't know how many people would openly admit this, but I think a lot of the impetus behind the OSR was that there was no edition that really played to what they were interested in as gamers. And
why wouldn't people admit that? That's it doesn't make sense to have the OSR if people weren't looking for something they didn't have.
Well, no, but I mean, it just.
I think that just makes sense.
But I think it was phrased differently than just openly admitting we're not being catered to, so we're going to make something else. Which, to be honest, is the driving force, has always been the driving force behind gaming, which is what brought us things like, RuneQuest and Tunnels and Trolls. And
Sorry, I just missed all of that because my volume was off.
That's okay, I'm not repeating it. So. I held up a map, too, when you weren't looking.
Yeah. I figured.
Yeah, that's actually the best part of 5th edition. No maps.
No maps?
Yeah. Well, no,
no battle maps. It's
no,
great.
yeah, battle maps.
That is nice.
+1.
Just one of the things with the starter set, since it didn't have the, cardboard or other kind of big maps and things that they usually come with. At least they did for the last one or two.
That was one thing that I think was a bit of a disappointment. I would have liked to have seen some sort of separate.
Yeah, maybe a
maps,
large
even if it
map,
wasn't-
but
Yeah.
no. I mean, they did have the maps in the adventure, though, which weren't terrible, just...
No.
Maybe I can find one here. Be a bit spoilery, but, you know, stuff like
Look at
that.
it, David.
There you go. Can you see the map? There you go. See?
Yeah.
So it's not
Yeah.
bad.
Me and everyone listening on iTunes.
Yep.
So,
People actually listen to this on iTunes?
Surprisingly, yes.
Whoa. Hi, people. on
I've
iTunes.
actually seen our view and download rate, our listen and download rate, and it's shockingly high.
How high is it?
Well, it's high.
Dozens of people?
we could talk about that after we're done
Yeah.
broadcasting.
People
So-
should know
Or
how
too
we're
busy being
doing.
surprised.
So, on the whole killing the OSR thing, they haven't talked about a license. I don't think they're going to do anything with a license. I think this was a calculated move.
One thing I noticed was that there is no preemptive, like in third edition they had there is no open gaming content in this book,
Mhm.
and there is nothing like that in the Player's Handbook.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that there couldn't be a license involved. I mean, there has been rumors that there will be, but all of the statements the official statements have been that they're not going to comment one way or the other until all 3 books are rolled out.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
But they're also been very clear that they're allowing fan-created stuff to be put out there for free.
Well, you can't not.
No,
Yeah.
you can't.
Not in this day and age. I mean,
No.
when when TSR tried in the past, look at how much good.
Well, yeah, but it's one thing to just not do anything. It's another to actually endorse it, which they seem to have actually endorsed it.
Now, the other thing, though, is because of the changes with 5th edition, and I'm sure you guys have seen this too, there have been at least 2 publishers known for OSR things who are doing 5th edition adventures.
Yeah.
Right.
There's
Like
actually several.
Cobalt. What is it? Cobalt Press?
No,
Yeah.
not Cobalt. They're actually doing the 5th edition. They did the Legacy of Dragon or Tyranny of Dragons campaign for Wizards. No,
They do nice stuff.
because the people that used to be Necromancer had the Kickstarter for which I never bothered to look back at and see what ended up happening with that.
Excellent journalism in real time, folks.
I just stopped caring after a certain point. And,
All right, fair enough.
Yeah. But
I don't know what you're talking about, so I'm that much worse.
Yeah. No, they had a Kickstarter for a 5th edition adventure that they wanted to
Oh,
do
fun.
without, in knowing any. And Goodman Games is doing a couple of 5th edition adventures that they've got together that they're going to have at Gen Con.
Oh, cool.
That's true.
The Necromancer people were basically they were looking at it reverse engineering 5th edition stat blocks out of 3rd edition material.
Okay.
So, but that's a big difference between 4th and 5th edition is that they made a lot of changes in 4th edition, so you couldn't do that
Mm-hmm.
because they didn't. They had enough problems with people making complete games out of the SRD and not having to buy a player's handbook.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's a symptom of a move towards things, or if it's just, all these people are like, well, these people are going to want something, we should capitalize on that, which is a bit canny of a business choice for a lot of gaming companies. So I don't know if I'm necessarily going to go with that option.
Well, I don't know. I think if you look at what they did with Basic, where they just threw it out there for free, with just the 4 classes and just the basic stuff that you need to run off on your own if you're a DIY type person, I think that's directly competing with the OSR.
Yeah.
That's being put out to go against, Swords and Wizardry, white box, 4 classes, core, that sort of thing. Your labyrinth lords, your stuff like that. Because it's close enough to the old. It feels like D&D again, which 4th edition didn't really feel like D&D. And I don't know. I think they've.
You played 4th edition, Josh. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, 4th edition was really a tactical board game in a sense. You really needed the board, you needed the miniatures, because otherwise it just wouldn't play correctly.
Much like Savage Worlds.
Yeah, actually, in a sense, it kind of is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we've talked about that topic all we really care to, right?
Well, I don't think it will kill the OSR though. I think what it's going to do is push the OSR into more niche products, like your Lamentations, your Adventurer Conqueror King, which are about a certain aspect of play.
Or do something really, really well, like Adventure Conqueror King system does the random rolling of the campaign world and adventures and stuff surprisingly well.
Right, and it does the progression from 0 to hero really well. The idea of domain play, or name level play from the original game.
So what you're saying, it's going to move away from sort of the generic.
Oh yeah, I think it'll probably kill the generic games. Your generic games are in trouble. You may see those generic games used as templates or bases for more specific games. So Swords and Wizardry will survive as the core for a bunch of new games.
Possibly.
And there'll still be people holding on. I mean, there's always going to be people holding on. But I think what's going to happen is people are going to start developing things for 5th edition or that run in parallel to it. They'll do all their DIY with 5th edition because it's going to be well supported, and there'll be lots of new stuff out. And with all the marketing that is going to be thrown into it, there'll be plenty of people to play with.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's a key, particularly when you're talking about like bloggers and stuff. It's going to mean that there's an audience that is going to be looking for this stuff.
Yeah. Plus, with a nice shiny starter set, basic rules out there that are easy to get, a player's handbook that you can pick up in your local comic book store or wherever, or order quickly online. I don't know. It's set up very well to compete against these niche games that are going to be harder to get. People are going to have to want to play the niche games, which means they'll have to really inhabit a niche well.
But isn't that the case with them now? To be honest, I mean, I mean, the OSR games are destination games. They're not games you kind of wander into. You have to be looking for them.
For the most part, unless you're Ethel, then you kind of get wandered into it, but.
You get carried into it bodily by random strangers on the internet.
Talked into it. I've talked a couple people into using Swords and Wizardry.